So we've had some rain. It's just a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch, which, if you can excuse my junk that annoys everybody so much, things are actually, the 1/4 of an inch of rain actually did some good. I mowed hay last night again until about 9 o'clock, and then, it started to rain, and I said, hell with it. So you're probably, some of you guys that don't know what I do for a living, it's mulch hay, so I can do pretty much what I want, and I can mow in the rain if the mower will do it. But anyway, since it has rained, and I'm not in the mood to go mow hay in the rain, I figured I should probably do some maintenance work on these hay rakes, because I'm going to be honest. Oh wow, what a beautiful job, huh? I had to lay that in there really deep because it was starting to crack. But anyway, with that being said, these H&S Action rakes, these are awesome rakes. Now, I know that you saw me build this in the spring. This one here, I did it on both of them, and it has completely alleviated any of the problems that I had with the center beam bending. Now, I know there's a lot of Europeans that are wondering, why do I use a wheel rake? I mean, why do you use that antiquated piece of shit? Well, okay, well, here it is. This is a 12-wheel rake. It's the AR12 Action Rake by H&S. There are better ones out there. There are cheaper ones out there. This one here, I paid, I think, $71.50 for it. I bought them both for the same price, and they were delivered for that, so I can't complain. One was delivered, the other one I just drove home. But here it is, a 12-wheel rake. This rakes, the raking width is somewhere around 25 feet, and it is light, it is fast, it is virtually maintenance-free. I mean, you just, you grease them. I don't know why in the hell that thing. Oh, that damn grease zerk actually took grease too, because I've greased this thing a score of times. But anyway, these rakes are relatively trouble-free. No problems at all. They just work. You go to the field, you hit the hydraulics, it unfolds, and you're raking in a matter of seconds. My old rake, my old 1660? Yeah, 1460/1660 hay rake. You had to, there was little latches at the front. You had to get out of the tractor, come out, unlatch it. When you were done raking the field to go down the road, you had to get out, you had to line it up and jerk it around and fool around with it. Take 15-20 minutes to get the thing, probably 15-20 minutes for both operations combined. Whereas this thing here, I'm on the ground raking in a matter of seconds. Now, we did have this break off. My nephew welded that back in, and I do have a solution to this problem, because this wheel, this is open. I mean, this is an open web, and what I think that H&S should do is actually square this off with a piece of square tube, or not square tube. They should octagon this, a piece of steel in there, and weld it here, and here, and leave these open for water to come in and out. And that would give this enough strength to hold up and last longer. That's just my personal opinion, because here, no problems. Here, because it's the trailing edge and most of the force is at the front, I'm not having any problems. This has a lot more stress on it than that one. And you shouldn't wonder why, but I'm going to tell you why. It has more stress on it because all the hay that has been pulled from the front and rolled all the way to the back gets squeezed out the ass end. So there's a lot of pressure on this back wheel, and it will torque that off. But it never did with this one or the other one because of the force. Now, this one here, on the other hand, because it is being pulled, from the front, it's actually pulling here, trying to peel this up. Oh, this side isn't doing it, which is rather surprising to me. But that one did, and Cody welded it back on where it belonged, and everything's good. So what I'm going to do today is probably just add, something in here, and I'm going to straighten out this problem, because as you can see, someone hit a bale of hay and bent that shaft. I don't know if you could see the angulation of it, but it's bent, it's angled, and it has to be bent back. Also bent the tip of that axle in there. So I'm going to see if I can, I'll probably take that whole hub off of there and see if I can bend it back. I'm not really too worried about this part of it, but you can see that it's dished downward over this one. And of course this is hitting here now because of it being bent. So I'm going to get a shale bar onto it and put some pressure on it and see if I can actually just bend it back up that way. If not, I may come up with something a little more drastic, like cutting this. I don't really want to cut it because it just creates a weak point, but I could cut this about 3/4 way through and then tilt it back up and then weld it again, but I don't really want to do that either. So we're just going to kind of get to it and see where it goes. So getting back to why I don't use a rotary rake or even a roller bar rake or any other raking style, these are faster than your rotary rakes. They're cleaner than your rotary rakes. They are more versatile. There's literally no powered parts to it other than the wheels, which are powered by the ground. Light running, I can go down, there's no compaction, there's no tracks from it, there's just absolute simplicity. Speed, reliability, a 24-foot rake and a rotary style rake, you're going to be spending a lot of money. I paid $7,150 for this thing. I can take this thing right now in the condition that it's in and sell it for $4,000 or more, turn around and buy another one because they've come down in price. They're now actually $67.50 for the same exact thing, and you know, replace it. Oh yeah, and I get that wonderful warranty, which I will promptly void when I put my support there on there. But you know, hey, it is what it is. So enough of me gabbing. Let's get back to work, and you can watch me weld, and or I'm not going to weld. You can just watch me bend that, or figure out how I'm going to straighten that anyway. And I've got some ideas. There's things around here. I got a jack I could stuff up in there if I could get it spread close enough or far enough apart. So let me get my tools together. Well, trying to put a jack on this thing was not really the most intelligent thing in the world to do. You can see I'm pretty damn close just by the eyeball. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of paint on there. So, yeah, I'm pretty good. I think that one's different than those. It definitely is. That one's different than that one because of the length of that post. So that one's different. But the front and the backs are the same. And yeah, so I'm pretty thrilled. I think it looks good. That one there is tilted inward also. This one here is actually just a little bit I bent it a little bit too far, but not really. Maybe a half an inch. Maybe, but I think it'll just settle back in. See, the funny thing about when you heat stuff up, and I can actually see that it's settling back in. You heat stuff up, it expands there, and then maybe if you overextend it a little bit, it'll actually, as that cools, it'll shrink. And it isn't going to be too noticeable, but when I put it to the ground, things will settle back in. So, I think that's pretty much a success on that one. The other thing, I don't think I'm going to worry about this one so much, because yeah, it may be bent just a C hair, but it's not really that bad that I'm going to worry too much about it. Because once you start playing with those bearings, you know, I can visibly see that it is bent. The problem is, well, I might be able to just get a bar in here and tweak that back up. I don't know. Well, I'm going to try. Why not? I'll give it a try. See if I can bend that just a little. You can, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. That it is just a little bit bent. I don't think it's really worth worrying about too much, because obviously I have alleviated the problem that I had before, because you remember how close it was here. It was hitting, and it doesn't hit on the other side. So I think I'm just going to call it good. Let's see. You know what? I don't think it's any different. I don't think it's bent. I think they look very similar if you look at them. So if you look that way and you look this way, maybe that one's bent too. I know this one's actually bent the wheel. You can watch that thing wobble, you see? Or maybe this one's bent too. Probably is both bent. I don't know. Yeah, actually they are. You can see this one's bent a bit, and that one over there is bent a bit. So, okay, so we got sisters there, twin sisters. They're both bent just a little bit. I think I'm just going to call it good. Those front wheels really don't grab much, because it is 25-foot width, and you know, depending on which mower we're chasing behind this one, whether it's going to, you know, cause a problem or not. I doubt it. So I'm just going to I got some black paint. I'm going to let that cool off a little bit and run a wire brush over top of it, and I will paint that so that it doesn't look like it was heated up and it'll rust. Because I do have intentions of turning this in and, you know, trading it in. And if you see rust and stuff, people are going to be like, oh, I don't want to buy that, and it'll affect the price. Not that it'll affect the performance at all, but it will affect the price. And I got to tell you, I think I'm dead nuts on. I think it cooled back off enough that it is where it needs to be. And this whole thing just wobbles back and forth as it goes across the field. If it was too close, it would be hitting there. And I think that between both sides, it's good. So we're just going to call that, we're going to call that thing repaired. I have two of these, obviously. And, you know, and I do want, you know, I think, did I even mention what I was, I did talk about the rotary rakes and everything. For the most part, I can buy four of these things for the price of one of those rotary rakes. And for the most part, as long as I have two, I can just keep right on rolling. If I get a lot of hay on the ground, like what I have right now, I can, you know, send two people out to rake, and I can get it all raked up, and they can go home and eat their supper while I'm bailing until 1 or 2 in the morning, and just keeps the whole program going. So with that, I guess I'm going to grease it. I'm done talking about it, and yeah, we're just ready for another day in paradise here, another day on the farm. So I'll get back to